Back to the hardcore. So far, the NBA Finals, they've been one-sided. Through 2 in Boston, the Celtics have taken both and have made the Mavs look like it's Luka and then everybody else. Here's Stephen A. yesterday on what the Celtics are doing to Dallas.
I got to stand down and give the Boston Celtics props and recognize that Jaylen Brown, that Jason Tatum, that Drew Holiday, that Derrick White and these brothers, Al Horford, let's not forget him, Pritchard off the bench launching shots from half court. These brothers are balling, and they are literally, as Wendy said earlier, as Perk said earlier, they're punking the Dallas Mavericks. Where's your heart? Right now, you can literally look at the Dallas Mavericks. It's like, where the hell is your heart?
Do you agree with Stephen A.'s sentiment that the Celtics are punking the Mavs?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Stephen A., because I thought sometimes on the other night that I thought Derek Lively was a lot soft going to the basket. He had Derek White on him, and he's trying to lay the ball up. Bro, put him in the basket. And so now I'm glad you provided some context, because that might be some of the reasons he might have some things on his mind, and I think everybody would understand that. But I don't think they're getting punked. I just think the Boston Celtics are a better team. You see, the thing that they're doing is that everybody will go to the basket. They'll drive, they'll cut, they'll backdoor you. They're not just standing around. You look at the last series, the only person that would drive the basketball was Ant-Man. Cat didn't really want to drive the ball. He wanted to stay around the three, with the exception of the one game where he put the ball on the floor early and then he started launching the threes. I think that was game 4 to keep them from getting swept. But other than that, you look at Jason Tatum. He'll backdoor. Jaylen Brown will backdoor. Derrick White will backdoor. You see Drew Holiday, he had 18 points in the paint. So they got so many guys. They got so many different things to defend. They just can't say, okay, if we stop Ant-Man, if we slow down Shai Gilgeous, we're good. You don't have that luxury with the Boston Celtics, because any one of their big guns can go get you 30, but Holiday, you saw, he go get you 26 and 11. We've seen Derrick White, the first round matchup against the Heat, we see him have a couple of games where he had 26 or 28 points. So they're just outmanned right now, and you throw in the fact that Kyrie is not playing like the Kyrie that we're used to seeing, especially in this playoff series, and we know what he did for the Cavaliers in 2016. This is why I don't think they're getting punked. I just think the Boston Celtics are a better team.
Well, I want to say, first of all, I agree, Stephen. I'm glad you brought up that point about Derek Lively, and it's important we show empathy. I lost my mother. It's almost 1 year since I lost my mom last summer, and I'm a much older man than Derek Lively. And there's not a day of my life is going to go forward where I'm going to feel the same as I did before I lost her. So I understand fully what Derek Lively is probably experiencing. Having said that, look, our job is to analyze the production on the court and what's going on and what's affecting the Dallas Mavericks. And right now, they are playing so far below their peak level offensively across the board. And I think several guys that they have been using significant minutes for have not been producing. And it's very difficult against a team like Boston that can be a buzzsaw offensively with this many different options and versatility and depth. If you have multiple guys in your rotation that are just not making their presence felt offensively, very difficult to overcome that. And Derek Lively would be one of those guys. He's not playing at the level he was earlier in the playoffs. I'd say the same thing about Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, who came back from an injury, clearly does not look like he has any idea where the ball's going when he lets it go, has no confidence in his shooting. You know, that's 3 players that you're combining for anywhere from 35 to 50 minutes that you're getting 2 points from, 4 points from total. It's very difficult to survive that against a team as deep as the Boston Celtics. Where I do think, you know, this phrase punking them comes into play a little bit is in this regard. What Boston is saying is, we're going to play you differently than any other team has played you. We're going to blitz you less, trap you less, provide less help than most teams do. Are you up to the task of beating these individual matchups? Because what their whole goal is, to not allow Luka to make the game easier for his lob runners and his weak side kick out guys. So they're challenging Dallas Mavericks. Individually, we're challenging you. Can you beat us off the dribble? Whoever you are, and I'm not even just talking about just the 2 stars. Any of your guys, can you beat us off the dribble? Can you win these individual matchups to make us rethink what we might have to do to adjust to you? That is where they are challenging the Dallas Mavericks, and they have not been up to that challenge, primarily because of the struggles of Kyrie and his inability to win those matchups and overthinking. He looks hesitant. I think he's making sometimes one too many moves. I think it's between his ears a little bit, and I expect a big response out of him on Wednesday night.
Well, so do I, because I think he'll be in Dallas instead of Boston being booed viciously. And I think that that's going to help him tremendously. That crowd in Big D is going to give him a lift. It had better because the urgency of the moment is now. It has arrived. And they've got to win Game 3, make no mistake about it, or they're going home in 4-5 at the latest. There's no way they're going to be down 3-0 and come back and win the next 2 games against this Boston Celtics team. You got to do it now. And that's what it comes down to, primarily because of Kyrie Irving. They're in this position. But also, P.J. Washington, where has he been? He was hitting threes all over the place in the playoffs. Suddenly, he can't do that now. Derek Jones, no threat whatsoever. He's got to get something together. Gafford's got to make his presence felt in the lane when he can, particularly defensively. He just has to find a way to do it. And, of course, Lively, despite his circumstances, has to find a way to give you more. But I'm also going to look at Jason Kidd, too. Because Jason Kidd, you've got to find a way to utilize somebody over your bench. Tim Legler, I brought this up the other day. They talked about Max Kleber, and obviously he was out. He was injured in the playoffs, and then he recently came back and whatever. And they talked about how close his relationship, at least once upon a time, was with Luka Doncic. Well, with friends like that, who the hell needs enemies? You know, what he's been doing in the playoff, in the finals thus far, it's the equivalent of you, me, and Shannon walking down the street, and somebody's whipping our ass, and then the other 2 run. Okay, and just leave me there to get my butt whipped. Okay, that's what Kleber is doing. He's leaving his boy hanging, okay, because he's doing absolutely, positively nothing. You're a big body. You can't seem to defend anybody, and you've got wide open threes you can't seem to make. Do something, and I think that Jason Kidd, whether it's Hardy, whether it's Tim Hardaway Jr., who may have had a bad season, but the man is streaky. You've got to find a way to get some offensive punch and put the Boston Celtics on their heels. If you don't do that, this is going to be a short series. And with Porzingis potentially compromised, I think the Celtics are going to lean on the side of caution. They're not going to push him too much. And I think that's the perfect opportunity, Game 3, for Dallas to take advantage. They don't take advantage in this game. I don't see any game they'll take advantage of.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's 88 over here,